Hi, Sarnan.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear us?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes. Okay. Hi, Pradeep.
Yeah, I'm just.
Okay, Suresh.
I'm into this.
Suresh, can you start?
So
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, fine. Yes, Sriram, you can start.
okay, cool. So today I'm going to give you a demo on what exactly Salesforce Platform is and what are all the capabilities of Salesforce, and from there we can take it up. From there we can proceed. So let me just. Okay, so in nowadays, you're hearing the term cloud computing quite a lot, and most of the applications, they are moving into cloud. So what exactly cloud computing means? So before, in the conventional process, what used to happen is most of the companies, they used to invest more and more of their time and money in setting up the localized service, which means they'll be maintaining a data center, they'll be renting out a building, and they'll be keeping people to look around the data center, and so they'll be investing in their localized service. But now what is happening is the companies, they came out with an idea saying that, okay, we'll take up everything for you. You don't need to maintain any localized servers. We'll maintain it for you. We'll give it back to you in a URL or else in a browser. So that is exactly what it means by cloud computing, where you don't need to invest anything in the localized servers, and then everything you'll be able to get it back from the vendors using some HTTP mechanism or else through the web browser. So similarly, Salesforce is one such company which is doing it in the similar fashion, and many of us will be aware that Gmail is also something which is available remotely. You're not maintaining anything for it, whatever emails you're getting, whatever data you're storing onto the inbox. So Gmail is also an example of cloud computing. So you're just accessing everything with a browser. So the entire idea or the whole concept behind cloud computing is you don't need to invest in the localized servers. You can just simply pay the money to the vendor, and then the vendor will be giving you applications which you can access it within the browser. And as the invent of this cloud computing, many of the companies, they are following a as a service models. And what exactly as a service is? So which means they're providing as a service. So you pay me something per user on a per month basis. I'll give you this as a service. So let's say you want 10 applications. A sales application, a service application, a marketing application, and etc. and so on. And what these companies like Salesforce or Microsoft Dynamics or SAP CRM or Siebel, what they are saying now is, okay, so for if you have 100 users, pay me let's say $10 for each user per month. I'll give you these 10 applications as a service. If you want more applications, then what you have to do is you have to pay more. I'm just getting some background noise. Can I just... Okay, I just muted also. If you have any questions, just shoot out at me just by unmuting it. Okay, so this as a service model, it's nothing but where everything they're providing as a service. So you don't need to install anything on your end. So unlike the conventional softwares, let's say you'll be getting a CD or else a pen drive where the software is available. You need to double click on the software, install it, follow the process where you'll be accepting what things you want to download or what things you want to install and all. But unlike that, what now it's happening is everything they're providing as a service. You don't need to install a single application on your system. You can just install it on the cloud, on the space that is provided to you by the vendor, and then you can use application as a service, software as a service, in fact storage as well. So you don't need to have your systems having 1,000 gigs of memory and then some 10 gig of RAM. You don't need to worry about all that. If you just have an internet connection, even a 512 MB RAM will work fine for the cloud computing platforms, and Salesforce is one such platform which you can work even with a very little configuration that you have on your machine. So these are few examples or few snapshots of what are the different as a service models that are currently prevailing in the market, and there are quite a lot that are coming up in the near future. So there are different as a service models which they're providing. So everything as a service, everyone is moving into cloud. So that's why IBM recently they had cut short many jobs as well, because no one is using the mainframes now. So it's eradicating slowly, because even IBM, they were planning to move everything into cloud. Okay, so now we'll talk about what exactly a CRM is. So CRM, as the acronym, it says Customer Relationship Management. So what exactly is Customer Relationship Management? So starting from day one of interaction with the customer, where the customer, he's still not pretty much interested in buying a product from your company, but he's willing to. So he can be a potential customer to your company. So starting from that day one, whatever transactions or whatever communications you do with the customer until the end of the sale and post sale. So let's say you're a customer, you're planning to buy a Dell laptop, and then like you'll be calling up the customer care center and then giving your details and then asking them like, okay, I'm in between these two models, which one I want to buy. So they'll give you some suggestions, and then in the meantime, while they're talking to you, the ISR, the inside sales rep, what they will do is they will create an account or a contact for you. Let's say you're buying for a company where you need to place an order of 1,000 laptops. Then what happens is they will add your company as an account, and then this guy whom you're talking with, because he's the decision maker, so they will add him as a contact. Let's say you're a standalone person. Let's say I'm an individual customer, so he will be directly added as a person account or else a contact in Salesforce. So starting from that interaction where the guy calls you, or else like you do a calling to the guy saying that, okay, we are having some marketing options now, are you interested, or something like that. So starting from that day one until the purchase and post purchase. So let's say the guy purchased a laptop from your company, and then afterwards he had some issues with the laptop. Still you can control, or else like you can solve the issues of the customer using this customer relation. So it's a 360-degree view of the customer. So how he entered into your company, how he partnered with your company, what purchases he made, what are the issues he had so far, how many things he purchased, what is the revenue he generated for your company, everything. So everything surrounding a customer, that is tracked in the customer relationship management software or tool. So that is exactly CRM, where you'll be dealing with different clients, whether he can be an individual customer or he can be from a company. So that is called as CRM software. And why we talked about this CRM is because Salesforce is one such CRM platform. And there are other platforms in the market that are available. And if you see the number of clients, and if you see the usability, and if you see the amount of time it takes to move the things to production, Salesforce is the best one. So it got very short release cycle, because most of the applications and most of the functionality, Salesforce has invested so many developers on their end, and it is available as a point and click. You don't need to know in-depth coding to deploy actually an application into production, which is going live, and then the live users will be using it. So you don't need to know the entire coding knowledge, but if you know what are all the capabilities that are provided on the platform itself, then you're good to go and then deploy applications. But if your company, if it is requiring more customizations on their end, which is not available on the Salesforce platform, then what you have to do is you have to invest in developers where they can code, and then where they can deploy something, do some testing, and then deploy into production. So coming into the current CRM market, we have quite a lot of CRM. So example like SAP CRM, Siebel CRM, Microsoft Dynamics, and Zoho. So Zoho, it's an Indian-based CRM. So the guy is from Chennai. So that is quite, it is getting popular as well. But if you see the market leader, it is Salesforce.com. Because the richness of the application and uninterrupted updates, and the easy point and click functionality, and what most people they like about Salesforce is the less release cycle for MTP. So MTP means move to production. So you don't need to wait. Unlike Siebel, you have to wait like an year or couple of years to move something to production, because the development is so dragging, and then it takes so much of time. And previously most companies, they used to follow the waterfall model, but now everything is agile and super agile, where the release cycles has gone down to, in some companies I have worked with, so it gone down to 2 weeks as well. So every 2 weeks we have a release. Every 2 weeks we push something to production. So these are all the different market leaders in CRM. And if you see, it gives a snapshot of why Salesforce, why not something else. So these are all few points that gives you an idea of why people are going for Salesforce, why most people they went for Salesforce CRM platform rather than going with Microsoft and other vendors like Siebel or SAP or Zoho. And the less development cycle, as I mentioned the previous things, and then security you can count on. So on this thing, I would like to add a note. In 2007, there was a phishing attack that happened in Salesforce. So what happened was all the contacts in Salesforce, they received some spam emails. And then since then, the company, they had doubled their security because this is the major concern for most of the cloud platforms. Security is a major concern because everything is a browser, and any loopholes in the browser security or anything, any loopholes in the tokens that you pass in the browser, that will have a impact in losing your data. So that phishing attack, what it suggested to the cloud computing vendors or the CRM vendors is you have to be very careful on the security. Otherwise, there are chances that the data might be misused by someone else or some other guy who is doing some hacking on their end. So since then, it's been doubled, and since 2007 until to date, there are no other complaints on the security from the Salesforce end. Hey, Pradeep.
Hey, you said the security, right? I understand that the Salesforce is a multi-tenant cloud-based model. So, do you have any idea about like what type of the security feature they have at the high level?
No. So when I say security, what it means is, so are you talking about security inside the platform or outside, like, for users?
Not inside the platform. Inside the platform is, I think, the role-based access. What I'm saying is like, since it's a multi-tenant environment, basically the hardware and software is shared across vendors. So
Exactly.
how they are implementing the security that one application is not collided with other vendors' application?
Okay, cool. Let me just so in Salesforce, everything it'll be having a row ID just like in Siebel. We call it a record ID in Salesforce. So that record ID, it's unique when compared to the different instances. So let's say you work in one Salesforce instance and I work in Salesforce instance, but we share both resources commonly. So that is the multi-tenant architecture concept. But when I create a record, the record ID, it won't match with your one. So each and every instance will have their own record ID, and that is the how they differentiate between two different instances. Let me just show you quickly. So the URL that you need to use to log on to Salesforce is login.salesforce.com. And then each and every instance in Salesforce, Pradeep, so if you see, this is the instance of Salesforce. This is the actual instance where your data is getting stored. So that is one thing, that might be common with few instances, and that might be different. So I'll show you the different instances that are available in Salesforce as well. And let me just open an account for you. So now I'm creating a record. Let's say test account. As soon as I save, just keep an eye on the URL. It will show a record ID on the top. Okay, if you see, this is the record ID, and this ID, it's unique throughout the entire instances. So you won't be having any other record which will have the same ID. So this is how they are maintaining the security, so that as it is a multi-tenant architecture, you don't want other people to see your data, and then you don't want other people to have access to your data as well. So the record IDs, which is unique, and it won't be available to other instances. And at the same time, the configurations that we do, they're called as metadata, which is nothing but data about data. That is unique to your instance as well. And let me show you what are all the different instances we have in Salesforce, so that you'll get a clear picture how many instances are there. So this trust.salesforce.com, this is the Salesforce provided website so that you can check your system status. So if you guys create an account, as you guys are based in US, you'll be getting something like NA here, which is North America servers. Whereas myself, like I'm based in India, right? So it is showing Asia Pacific. So if you see, these are all the different instances that are available for Salesforce. So when you try to create an account in Salesforce, it will give you any one of these available. And then the security, as I just mentioned, so the record IDs, it won't match with any other instance. So it is unique to your instance and to your particular login credentials. Does that answer your question, Pradeep?
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm just showing you the different instances. So in Europe, they have few. In Asia Pacific, they have few. And this one, it's sandbox. And like we're going to talk about detail, like what exactly a sandbox is and all, like after this demo sessions and all. So these are all the different instances that are available for Salesforce. And as you mentioned, it's a multi-tenant architecture. I think I captured that in my next slide. I think let me just pull it back. Okay, and then so just before we move on to the next slide, so if you want any support from Salesforce, they do have a pretty robust support model as well. So you can log cases. Let's say you're stuck up with something and then you don't know the solution to go forward. In that scenario, you can rely on your other developers or else like someone who is a senior developer. But at the same time, you can always drop a case to Salesforce and they will get back to you. Regarding any problem, let's say coding issue, or you have something that went into a recursive loop, or the users, they are not able to log in and you don't know the solution for it. So anything you can take a pick, you can send out an email or else like raise a case to the Salesforce people. They will get back to you in no time. But obviously, as we all developers, so we don't want to take Salesforce help for each and everything. We want to solve it by ourselves. If we don't find a solution, then there is always an option. You can go with the Salesforce people. They will assign you an architect who can suggest you ideas, or else like who can do some extra configurations on your end.
Okay. Hey, just one more question related to the data management. So see, I understand the cloud concept, but my question is, since I'm going to host all my the business related information into the multi-tenant application server, okay? So in case if I want to do a backup, let's take an example. Today I'm using Salesforce, okay? So all my business related information, account, lead level, sales, opportunities, everything is there. So tomorrow my enterprise has taken a decision to move to a different CRM tool like Sogo, who's giving a better option there. So how I can take a backup of my data?
Okay, so you are familiar with the IDE, the Eclipse IDE?
Yeah, I'm familiar with Eclipse IDE.
So using Eclipse IDE, you can take a backup. So let me just show that to you as well. So yeah. So taking backup, it's not a big deal at all. Pradeep, if you're the person who asked the question. So you can do it with multiple tools that are available on Salesforce. So one is Eclipse, which is normally most of the Java developers, they use it for their development. And you can install a force.com plugin which connects to the force.com projects, and then you can fetch the metadata and then you can put it into a subversion or else a GitHub. So if you want to take a backup, you can do that as well. So let's say these are all different backups that I had taken recently. So if you see, these are all the different metadata components that are available on the force.com platform. And creating a project and getting a backup, it's similar to how you do it with the Java project. So you just need to go and create a new project. And then the project here, as I installed a force.com plugin, which sits on top of the IDE environment, you can connect to the project and then it will ask you for the credentials. So let's say, I'll just say Feb 15, and then I'll provide my credentials.
Sriram, I'm sorry. My question is completely a little bit different, Sriram. I understand that you are just taking the backup of all the apps or your customized code. What I'm saying is like...
So you're asking about the data?
Yeah, data backup.
Yeah. So that is possible as well. So obviously, if you're taking the metadata backup, then it's easy to get a data backup as well. So this is the data loader tool that is available. where you can export all the data from different objects. So let's say I just
Okay.
want to export something, and then I need to change some settings because as I'm outside my office network, I don't need to use the proxy setting.
Okay, so this is how we can just export the data from the S objects, right?
Yeah, so obviously if you want to migrate something to a different thing, right, like it's a different CRM platform, you want to see how your metadata is, and at the same time you want to get all your data as well, right? The data
Okay.
means actual data in the objects, or else the
Yes.
entities,
Yes.
entities that are available in the database. So this is the data loader tool that you can export, and apart from this, there are other tools as well. So Salesforce has become so popular that everyone is making an app now, and then like you can get the data back from Salesforce. So here Workbench is a different app where I can log in and then I can get the information. So let's say it's connecting to the...
Will you be able to export the rich text contents as well? Like, if you have any files.
You can. There are apps which are available to do it. So there is this dataloader.io as well. So you have like quite a different apps that are available.
That's fine. You don't need to show. I mean, I'm just.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know whether
Okay.
it's possible or not. Yeah.
Cool. But just to give you a glance of it, so you got multiple apps, and these are the apps that I know, and there might be different apps that are available in the market. So these are the ones which I had been previously using: the Workbench, the dataloader.io, and the data loader. And then there is one inbuilt feature which is used just to insert onto the Salesforce platform that sits on the platform itself. So that is one more thing.
Okay, these tools are licensed tools or they're free tools?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
These are the licensed tools or they are all like available?
No. These are free. All the tools that I'm showing you, those are all free. So this is my developer org, right? So which is a free instance which I just created. So for that instance, I can use all this, and at the same time for production and for sandboxes as well, I can use all this. So these are all free tools. You don't need to pay anything. Okay, so as we have been discussing previously on the multi-tenant architectures, but what exactly is multi-tenant architecture? So if you see the Salesforce documentations or any good videos on multi-tenant architecture, they compare the multi-tenant architecture to something like a apartment building, where the different flats, they'll be sharing the common resources like the lift, the common electricity, and at the same time water. But each and every flat, they have a division by walls to separate their work with different flats. So that is actually a multi-tenant architecture. So the simple example for that is, so now I'm using AP2, right? The instance which I just showed you here. It doesn't mean that I'm the only person using this AP2 instance. There are other users who will be sharing the same instance, but the security and everything, it depends on the record IDs and the metadata. So each and every instance that will have a different the record IDs, and even people who are in the same who are sitting in the same instance, they will have different record IDs. Since it's a multi-tenant architecture, you don't want to involve your data with other people, or else you don't want to get into with other people's business. So that is the reason why you have your own location where you'll be working, and then you won't be able to log on to the other people's location. So multi-tenant architecture, which means you'll be working at a similar instance with different people, but you won't be sharing your data with anyone else apart from your business people. And if you see MVC, so most people who know about multi-tenant, they know about MVC pattern as well, which is a popular architecture pattern that is used by most of the companies worldwide. And what exactly is MVC? MVC is Model View Controller. And just to relate this to Salesforce, how we can do is, so model is nothing but data model. So whatever objects we have, so if you see whatever things you're looking at the tabs here, these are all the different objects that are predefined by Salesforce, given for you to work and play around with on the developer. So these are all the different data tables that are available. So when you actually create a record, you're creating a entry in the data table in the database. So that is the modal, which is the M part in the MVC, and then the view, whatever you're seeing on the page here. So everything is a rich Visualforce page which is designed by Salesforce, and then they're providing it to you. So Visualforce, it's a markup language which is created by Salesforce for developing the web pages and for developing the UI on your end. So they had provided standard functionalities where you can drag and drop and do stuff, but at the same time, if you want some customizations, they have their own language which is Visualforce. And Visualforce, it allows HTML, it allows JavaScript, it allows jQuery, it allows CSS as well. So if you try to create a page in Salesforce, if you're familiar with all this, you can use all that without using the Visualforce components. So that is possible as well. But if you're familiar with Visualforce components, you can do with Visualforce. So Visualforce, it's the UI bit in Salesforce. What it tells you is, it gives you all the different view and what are all the different things that you can do on the top of the configuration that is provided. So any customizations that you want to do.
So Sriram, in this entire, sorry Sriram, sorry to interrupt. So
Yeah,
in this Visualforce is a view, so it has its own markup language, and we can use JavaScript. So
Exactly.
So if I need to use a specific third-party scripts which suits my need, how we can use the third-party tools?
When you say third-party, so what do you mean? Do you want to integrate with the third-party system, or?
No. Let's take, like, I have a complete my customized JavaScript library which is designed for my company, and we want to interface that JavaScript library that needs to be used inside the Visualforce page. Because when we say Visualforce page, the entire script and the markup language is provided by Salesforce. Now my company has designed a JavaScript, so I want to use this JavaScript into the Visualforce page. So
yeah, that is possible as well. So if you have your JavaScript library, which you just mentioned, you can upload that library into static resources in Salesforce. Okay, so this is one area which you can refer on to the pages itself. So you can upload this library, whatever JavaScript library that you have, and then you can use the functions, or else, what are all the parameters that you have in that library onto your page. So that is possible as well. So even jQuery is something similar to that, right? So jQuery library, you want to upload it before using it. So that is possible.
Okay, so I mean, like, basically, like, from how they are validating this one, like, if I suppose if I upload a jar file or a JavaScript, there is a possibility that I can inject something inside the server, right? That is in my own application area. How they are validating? Is there any mechanism that, okay, let me put it in this way, like, if I develop an iOS application, Apple is not going to deploy this application directly into the store. So first they will validate the code, they make sure that it is aligned to their standards and then nothing is got injected. So in this case, if I upload my own static resources, will they follow any mechanism to validate that, okay, this jar file is supports our governance model and it is good to use?
From what we have used, so I did not face anything like, such verification from Salesforce, but the only thing that they verify is just like what you said. So for the iOS or for, the Android market, if you're planning to upload something onto the App Exchange, because whatever you're uploading, that is specific for your instance, right? So it bugs your instance. So they don't do a verification on that. But if you're trying to upload something to this App Exchange, which all the instances can download, so just like an iOS app, it is like a, you can think of App Exchange as a Play Store for Android, or else the Apple market. So if you try to do something here, definitely they will stop you. But if you're doing something just for a Visualforce page and all, they won't stop you, because you're doing something for your instance. If your instance breaks, you're obviously going to contact the people, right? Then they will come and the architects, they will come and question the developers who has done it, because they are using a library which doesn't support or which have totally bugs in it. But if you're trying to do something on the App Exchange, definitely, but they don't allow you in the first place itself. So if you're planning to do something which is having too many bugs, or which the library, it fails something on the servers, then they won't allow you to post something onto the App Exchange which is available to all the different instances.
Okay, so basically we can create our own app and publish into a marketplace that is available for common users, but it has its own governance.
That's true. Yeah. So
Okay.
before publishing, the Salesforce review team, they will review the app that you developed, and if and all, if they find anything that is buggy, then they won't allow you. If it's nothing there, then they will obviously allow you to do something. So you can
Okay.
upload it, and then based on the downloads and all, there are two different versions of products that you can do. So one is a managed package and unmanaged package. So based on the downloads, it will be moved to a different version. Okay.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Cool. So yeah, so we're talking about this controller bit, right? So what exactly a controller means? So if you're doing some operation on the platform, let's say I clicked on this, and then it is moving into a different page, and then I'm clicking on new, it is opening this particular page. So what all is happening behind the scene? So behind the Visualforce page, what all is happening? So when I click on something, it is showing me a new button and a different layout. When I click on new, it is showing me a input page and all. So this is all handled by controllers. So that is the C portion in the MVC pattern. So the controller is nothing but the logic that you write behind a button or a page. What happens when the user clicks on the page, or what happens when the user clicks on the button. So these and all comes under the controller bit. And if you guys are familiar with Java or basic knowledge on object-oriented programming, it is the same thing that you use in Salesforce, but they name it as Apex, but it is similar to Java. You'll be having classes, you'll be having methods, you can instance a class, you can refer to that, and the access modifiers like public, private, global, all these hold good for Salesforce Apex programming language as well. But they named it like, they just want to be special about their own programming language, so they just named it as Apex, similar to Visualforce for UI. For controller, they name it as Apex. So you can use Apex to do the business logic that runs behind the Visualforce pages. So this is how the MVC, it relates to the Salesforce. M for data model, what are all the different objects, and the view for the UI that you're seeing, and if you want to customize it, Visualforce is something that you can do. And controller, which is nothing but the logic that runs behind the Visualforce pages or behind the scenes when the user does some operation.
Sriram, are the developers allowed to write their own classes and methods, or they have to use the existing ones that are
No. So
inbuilt with the
you can write your own methods. So let's say you want to do some operation, everything in one page. Then if Salesforce standard functionality, if it doesn't provide you to do that, if it doesn't allow you to do that, then obviously what you can do is you can write your own class, your own methods, you can use it. But if you want to use the methods that are given by Salesforce, by all means you can do that. And if you want to use any interfaces that are provided by Salesforce, you can implement those interfaces and you can do that as well. But we're talking about the actual customizations where you can create a class from scratch on your end. You can work on that class. If you want to write a test class for that, that is possible as well. You can do your testing on unit testing on your end, and then you can move it from one instance to another instance. So for your question, so you can write.
What kind of language is that? What scripting or language you should be using for writing your own class?
That is what I just previously mentioned. So it's similar to Java, but they name it as Apex. Apex is the programming language provided by Salesforce. Let me just type Salesforce Apex.
So it has its own rules, right? Syntax and rules.
I wouldn't really say that, because if you're familiar with object-oriented programming, it holds the same thing. So you can, whatever code that you write, like the methods, classes, and also that you can do. But they had simplified few things, like say the getter, setter
language can be different. The way that it comes. Object-oriented language is fine, but the syntax might be different, right? For example, your JavaScript is of course the object-oriented, right? But you need to follow certain standards, like it has to be like uppercase or lowercase, whatever.
No, it doesn't matter uppercase or lowercase. But the standards and all, like it is similar to Java, so you don't need to worry about so this thing completely differs from Java. If you have
it's not case sensitive, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, it's not case sensitive, but what I'm saying is, the syntax and everything, it's not totally, something that is too different from other languages. It is pretty much similar to Java. So yeah, Apex is the programming language, and so for your question, so you don't need to worry about okay, what will be the syntax for it. So you don't need to concentrate too much on the syntaxes, because if you're familiar with how to write a class with methods in it, then that's it. That'll be good. So because that syntax, it holds good for all the Java or any programming language which is based out in Java. So Apex is one such programming language which is based out in Java. Okay, so coming to the syntax wise, like if you want to print some error messages onto the UI and everything like that, you need to see like how to add a error method onto the page and all. So that comes from the syntax part of the Apex. But so how familiar are you with the the object-oriented programming or the Java programming? Do you have a fair knowledge?
I have a fair knowledge about object-oriented programming, but yeah, I mean Java little bit. I mean, if I look at the code, I can understand.
Okay, yeah. So just that little knowledge on object-oriented programming will help if you're going into a developer role onto the Salesforce, where you'll be developing, where the company is looking for more customizations on the top of the standard functionality that is available. And in order to sign up for a developer edition, you can click on this link, developer.salesforce.com, where you can create a free developer edition. You can create unlimited editions if you want. So you can create one, you can play around to see what are all the different functionality, how robust is the platform and all, and it will give you an instance something similar to that. And hope like you guys already playing around on this particular instance.
Not yet.
No, I'm not.
Okay. So if you're not it, then you can quickly create an account on this, and then you can land and you can play around to see like what is the richness of this particular platform.
Yeah, actually, I tried. I didn't get the confirmation email at all, so I don't know what happened. So.
Oh, okay. I just created this account like a couple of minutes ago before just starting the session and all.
Okay,
so you should.
I'll try.
Do you want to try it now, or do you want to try it later?
I can try it later. Now we have other people also on the call.
Yeah, cool then. So yeah, pretty much like I'm done with the demo session for today, and then is Ashwant on the call?
Okay, Sriram, I think he's not there. I have one question. You mentioned there is a developer role. Then is it like in a SAP? You have a developer and just a consultant role in Salesforce, or just only both? It's the same.
So there are quite different roles in Salesforce, Pradeep. So let's say there is an admin role where you'll be working on the point.
I think sorry, there are a lot of background noises. I'm not able to hear.
Let me just mute all. So yeah, I just muted all, Pradeep. So what I'm saying is, so just like a SAP consultant and all, you do have multiple roles in Salesforce. You can be a consultant, you can be a developer, you can be an admin, you can be an architect as well. So that and all, you'll be able to see it here. If you type certification.salesforce.com.
Which role has
and then if you see, hey, sorry, I'm not getting you, whoever is talking. So
no, this is Saranam here. I was asking, which role has the more job opportunities?
Okay. So, obviously the developers will be having the higher priority when compared to the admins or the consultants, because in most of the companies, right, like if you're a developer, you should be aware of the point and click functionality that is available in Salesforce as well. So you should be able to handle all the admin tasks that are available. So, but that's a mix of opportunities, but I would say if you want me to take a pick on which jobs are more higher in the market, the developer ones, and then the admin, and then the consultants. But let's say, in US, the thing I had seen is, let's say there are 10 openings for Salesforce, 3 will be on admin, and then, 1 will be for a consultant, and then the rest will be on developers. So developers, you'll be having more options to play around, because as a developer, if you give your certification for 401, what it exactly means is you have to know the point and click functionality that is available on Salesforce. So which means you are directly.
I'm sorry. What is admin role here? A consultant developer, I understand.
So admin, let's say, yeah. So that's what I'm explaining. So admin, let's say you took an instance and then you want to set up the security inside the platform. So let's say some users, they need to see only some records on accounts, and the other users, they need to see the rest of the accounts. And then this user, he should have access only to these entities or data tables, and this user, he shouldn't have. And these two roles, they should share the same records. So all these sort of things, and then the point and click functionality as I mentioned. So let's say you want to send out an email to a user as soon as someone creates a lead in your account. So these sort of things, and then any approval process for business automation and all, the admin, they will take care of it. So the developer, what they will do is, let's say you don't have a separate admin for your company, then obviously it will go on to the head of the developer. But if you have someone who is an admin that is available, then obviously all the point and click functionality will route to the admin.
Okay.
But if there isn't one available, then obviously they will come and bug the developer because you are the only one.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
If you don't mind.
And
if you don't mind,
where is the data being stored?
Hey, sorry, one at a time. I did not get what you guys were saying.
No, I was asking what is the database behind the scenes? I mean,
It's Oracle.
is Salesforce using Oracle?
Oracle. So Salesforce guy, if you had seen Mark Benioff, he's a previous employee of Oracle as well. And this guy, what happened was he published this idea in one of the Oracle meetings, and everyone laughed at him and said like, okay, this cloud computing, it's not going to work for the CRM applications. And later he moved out of the company, and then he developed his own platform with recruiting few developers and all. But coming to your question, like the backend database, it's Oracle.
And does it work with the SQL also, or it has to work only with Oracle? Is it compatible with other databases also?
No,
is
so
it compatible with other databases also?
No. When you say compatible with other databases, you don't need to use another database, right? Like if you want to integrate with other database, you can. But Salesforce, by default, they're giving you a database as a service as well, and that database is Oracle. But if you want to integrate with other database, that is possible. But if you want to use another database, that doesn't make any, because you're paying to Salesforce for the database, for the infrastructure and everything. So if you want to segregate just the database and then use something else, I don't think that is possible, because they can't segregate. Let's say they will just give you only the metadata, and then whatever data you want to use it in a different platform, you can use it. But I don't think like they will allow you to do that. They're giving you the database as a package within what you pay for the developers, what you pay for the business users. So, but if you want to integrate to other databases, there are web services that are available. You can write your own web service, so that is possible as well.
Okay. So if somebody who wanted to learn Salesforce, would they need to have a sound knowledge on Oracle as well?
No. You don't need to have a sound knowledge on Oracle. The only thing that you need to know is like how to get the data from the database, because that is what most of the developers, they will be doing, right? To analyze the data or to insert the data for that matter. So for that we have tools that are available, and then the queries, they're pretty much similar. Even a layman can understand like what a query does. So let's say I want to pull the names of the accounts from the database. So for that, I don't need to know SQL as well, which is the Salesforce object query language. I can simply select what are all the fields I want, and then I'll just simply query. So it is building the query automatically for me, and then it pulls the data for me from the database, which is Oracle, and I don't need to know even what database it is fetching it from. And then if I want to download it, I can simply just do bulk CSV and then query. It will just simply download the file for me. Okay, so you don't need to be knowing about what are all the inner concepts that rely on the database side and what all you need to know. But the only thing is you have powerful tools that are available. So this is the concept, right? Like if something is already invented, you don't need to go and reinvent the wheel or try to reinvent the wheel. So it's there for you. You just need to find it and use it. That's it.
But who will actually architect the database itself in terms of what should be the tables and how the relationships should be and things like that? So
if you have an architect in your team, yeah. So if you're talking about the application on the Salesforce side, you need to have an architect who will be designing the data model and all, the relationships between different entities, what are all the fields, what is the type of the field and all. But if you don't have an architect, then you have to have some senior developers or as the senior management people who are much familiar on the platform. But usually what happens is, right, like in most of the companies where they're implementing a bigger project or a bigger application, they will get one of the Salesforce people to join the call as well so that they can give their own suggestions. So that is always the option for you. But if your company is big enough to employ an architect, then they can decide on the, what are all the data model and all. Does that answer your question? Is it Pradeep or Suresh?
Yeah, Saravanan here.
Saravanan, okay.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, it answered my question. So we have to have some Oracle DBA, right? Who has to be supporting this database?
No. So you're getting confused on it. So you don't need an Oracle DBA for it because the Oracle DBA, he won't be taking the backups of the data, or else like he won't be doing something. So normally DBAs, they'll be cloning the database into different server or doing some operations on the database. But this database, it's entirely controlled by Salesforce. So you don't need to worry about, okay, I need to have an Oracle DBA to do this. Because what are all the things that you have to do, like exporting, importing, and then manipulating the data, that you can do from the UI itself, like this Workbench tool or the dataload.io or the dataloader tool, which is this one. But you don't need an explicit Oracle DBA because as it is maintained in the cloud, you won't be having access to that particular Oracle database, explicitly to do some operations on the server.
Okay, so if at all if I have to create a new table, right? So that is something that my architect or some Oracle developer needs to do.
Yeah, but if you want to create a new table and you know what that table contains, so I can just simply go ahead and then let's say I want to create a new object, so I can just create it by just point and click on the platform.
You're saying the tables can be created from the front end itself.
Exactly, yeah. So you don't need an Oracle DBA for it. So if I want to, so a table is nothing but an object, right? So I'm creating an object in Salesforce which indirectly creates a data table in the database. So let's say with just few clicks, within just no time, you can create a data table. And then save. So that's it. I'm done with creating a data table, and that is available here. So when I click on you, as I haven't added any fields, there is one default field which says, test name. I'll just say Saravanan and then save. Okay, it just saves. And then let me just quickly refresh this. Okay, I just need to log out of this and then log back in. So going back to your question again, like you can do it within the UI itself. So you don't need to employ a DBA for it, because everything from the front end itself, you'll be able to do that. Usually it doesn't take that much time as well, just to reflect that particular object from your database. Okay, so if you see the last one where we had got test underscore, so this is the object which I just created. So for each and every custom object, it will show with the underscore C symbol, and let's say the ID from test, and by default, as I created only one record, it should pull only one record ID. And then if I want to pull the name of it, whatever name I entered, Saravanan, so that displays here. So you don't need a DBA explicitly to create a data table or something on the database. You can just play around on the platform to get to create a object which is nothing but a data table in Salesforce. Any other questions from you guys? Pradeep, Saravanan, Suresh.
Sri, actually, I was asking if you can just show me the Apex developer coding environment, just on a simple.
So let me just pull you this. So you have Apex classes here. Let me just log in back. So this is the coding, you can do it within the browser itself. So let's say I want to write an Apex class. I just searched for the Apex class in the left sidebar search, and then it opened me a window, and then I clicked on new. And then here I can write my own class. And then I can save it, I can write methods and everything in this particular class. So this is the testing, this is the development environment. And if you guys are familiar using IDE, you can do that directly here itself. Okay, once you have the project and all, like, you'll be getting all the options to create an Apex class and everything directly from here. So let's say, I have classes, this one doesn't have anything. So this is my, okay, just don't change something from, so here I have classes, right? So just to give you a snapshot of like what all you can do on the IDE platform. So it opens something like this, and then you can do some coding or else like do some manipulations here, and then you can save it. And then if you want to reflect this onto the platform,
the pages are taking time to load. Sorry, the pages are taking time to load. So.
Okay. So are you able to see the IDE platform now or not?
Yes. Now I can see it. Now you have a global class.
Yeah. So what I'm showing you here is, you can do some changes on the IDE, or else like within the UI itself, or else most of the Java developers who moved to Salesforce, they use the IDE because they were familiar. For their life they have been using the IDE platform, IDE environment. So so they'll be working on here. And then once you're done with your changes, you want to move that, you want to save that to the server. Then you need to go to the force.com drop down when you right click, and you have save to server here. So that actually saves your changes onto the Salesforce servers. So development wise, like you can do it if you're okay to do it within the UI, by all means, like you can do that. But if you want to do it in the IDE or in the Eclipse or in the Kepler, so you can do it that way as well. So both ways it allows you.
I got it.
And then, similarly for pages and all, you can access it directly from here. And triggers, you have triggers on each and every standard object, and at the same time you can create your own custom object triggers as well. So which is this one. So Visualforce pages, I can click new, and then this one, they got their own inbuilt developer console.
Triggers means the events?
Sorry? Triggers means?
Triggers are events or?
I didn't get that. So triggers all?
No, when you meant triggers, I mean, are these the events?
Yeah. Triggers will be having events, but trigger, it's not an event. So trigger is something which fires before or after an event. So a piece of code. Let's say you want to do some operation before inserting records into Salesforce. Let's say you want to append the name with Pradeep or Sharvanan or Suresh. So for that case, you can go with a trigger. So if you want to do some operation before or after a DML event, so let's say before insert, after insert, before update, after update, before delete, after undelete. So these are all the different events that are available. So triggers are something that you can play around as well. And as part of training, like we'll be covering triggers, the pages, the classes, all the point and click functionality, first to know like what are all the things that are available on the platform. Because if a requirement is given to you, and if you're trying to start coding, and then if someone comes back and say why you're coding for this as you have a point and click functionality, so you'll be in a fix because you don't know what the platform is capable of, and then you started coding. Because for coding, code it may break, right? Like we're all humans, we do make mistakes, and then it will have bugs. So instead of that, the standard functionality, it's been used by many different people, and then if it fails, at least like Salesforce will be notified within no time. So they'll be covering all the different test scenarios before releasing it to the general public. So that's what the users they need to know. So as part of the training, what we'll be doing is we'll be covering the different point and click functionality, what are all the must to know before working on the Force.com platform. And then afterwards we'll be working on the customization. So we'll start with triggers, we'll implement some bad jobs, we'll schedule those bad jobs, we'll go ahead with the pages, controllers and all. So that is how it's going to work. So triggers or something like, which fires before or after a DML operation.
Do you have the course content and, I mean, how many days, how many hours a day you are planning to, take the training?
Look, I'm flexible because you guys are only available during the weekends, right? Like IST for me.
Actually not, but yes.
Okay.
It's enough for people.
Okay. Okay, so I think like your guys, like your Crescent IT, Raju, he will talk regarding on that. What will be the days and timing. So it will take the training and all 30 to 35 hours, and so if it is weekends, we can plan like more hours. Let's say a couple of hours every session, and I think like you can chat that up with Raju. I think like you guys are aware, right?
No, we contacted Harish.
Okay, so I think like Harish will contact Raju. So this is a cycle of chain process going on. So you can check with Raju, and
okay.
I think like the main motto of this session is to give you a glance of like what all we'll be discussing. So I'll share the content with Raju, and then so he can share it back to you, and then you can check with Harish, and then Raju, they will give me the timings that you guys are available, and then like it will sync up. I'll sync up with them like to check my availability timings during the weekends and all, and then based on that like we can plan. But again, like so you need to circle back to Harish, and then I need to circle back to Raju here. So based on that, like we can come to a conclusion, and then we can kickstart. Okay.
Okay.
So when is
what else? Okay, Shri.
Yeah, go ahead, Sharona.
I have one question. The 35 hours of training. This is Suresh.
Okay, Suresh. Yeah.
The 35 hours of training. How much we'll be covering? How many percentage of actual knowledge what we need will be covered in this training? Just I'm asking. Maybe 10, 20% or 30, 40% of actual work, because you cannot cover everything.
No, that is obviously not possible to cover everything, but what all we'll be discussing, that would be enough to go into a real-time environment and start working. So you shouldn't be keeping a blank face in the technical meetings without understanding the technical terms that are available on Salesforce, and at the same time, if you're not in a position to propose a solution, at least not to confirm a solution, just to propose a solution, you shouldn't be in such a situation. So after the course, you'll be confident enough to go and attend the technical meetings and start working on your own, and then but it all depends on like how much you're practicing as well, right? But I would say after the course you'll be ready to work and then attend the technical meetings, propose a solutions as well. So we'll be talking about different aspects that are relying around the Salesforce, what are all the different point and clicks, what are all the when you need to go for customizations and all, right? So I would say after the course, after the 30-35 hours of training classes, you will be developer ready to work in an organization, to attend the technical meetings if you follow the technical content properly, and then do some exercises on what I have been explaining in the sessions and all. So I would say you'd be 70 to 75% ready to go and work in a real-time environment, because Salesforce, it's pretty good community-wise as well. So if you have any questions or anything, you can post that in the community, and then you can in no time you'll get a reply as well. So there is a community specifically for Salesforce developers. Okay, so after the course, like I'm confident enough, like you'll be so in a technical meeting, you don't keep a blank face saying that like, okay, I don't know this stuff, I don't know what this term mean and all that stuff. And then if they give you a task, and then you'll be thinking whether you can do it with the point and click functionality or else you have to go with a customization. So that and all, like I can assure you, you'll be well versed with that after the training.
Okay. Shri, just if you don't mind, trying to understand, what is your background, if you don't mind.
So yeah, my background, I started off with Salesforce itself.
Your background, I mean.
Yeah, so I'm talking about my background only. So I have been working on this platform for over 5 years now. It'll be 5 years 4 months exactly by this March. And then coming to the certifications, I'm a certified developer, I'm a certified admin, I'm a certified service cloud consultant as well. So I have been working around on different platforms, and I work closely with around 200 Salesforce developers in my company. So that's all. That's about my background and experience that I have on the Force.com platform.
Okay. Is it
So
okay. Is it okay to share which company you work for in India?
That details I don't want to give, but it doesn't really matter too. So because most of my company folks they will do it. So I work for HP, Hewlett Packard.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
The voice is breaking. Okay. We'll ask for a bridge somewhere. Okay.
Sriram?
I'm good.
Here.
Yeah, sure.
Hello.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sharman.
Yeah. So as part of this training, I was actually at least I understood that they will be providing some assistance for the jobs as well, right? So how does that happen? I mean, does it happen after this training is done? Do they help us to prepare for the interviews as well?
No. So what is that your question? So you're asking me after the post training, what will happen to your interviews?
Yeah, I mean, do they provide any job assistance also in terms of, providing us the lead for any job openings in some companies?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah, I'm based in India, right? So I think the consultancy people with whom you got in touch with, they will. You need to check with Harish on that one, because that is the main motto of them, right? They're getting you trained, they want to get you placed and all. Yeah. So that is their motto. So I think Harish would be the right person to comment on that.
Sure. Yeah.
Any other questions from? Yeah. Any other questions from you guys?
I'm good at least for me.
Okay.
So
Cool.
do we have a training session tomorrow?
That and thing Harish will confirm to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Okay then. Yeah.
Not
a problem.
Suresh also had some question. I think I was interrupted.
Sorry?
Suresh had some final question. I believe I interrupted.
Okay. Yeah.
Suresh,
Go ahead,
there?
Suresh.
No, I think I'm just asking which company you work for, because you said you have 200 people you're working with. So I'm just wondering which company you work in India.
I just said that before. So HP, Hewlett
He
Packard.
mentioned he works for HP.
Yeah.
I was not able to hear. The voice was not clear for me.
That's
Sorry.
totally fine, Suresh. Yeah. So I work for HP.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe you have to ask for a telephone bridge.
Yeah, sure. So we'll see what all they can provide. But yeah, so
Thanks.
if you don't have any questions, Suresh, Sharvanan, and Pradeep Kumar, we can end the session, and then you circle back with Harish, I'll circle back with Raju.
Sure.
Thank you.
I'm good. Yeah.
Sure.
Thanks a lot.
Have a nice evening. I'll catch up with you guys later. Bye bye.
Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Hello.